Podcast time.
Hey, good evening.
Hello.
How you doing, Mark? What's going on, man?
Wonderful. How are you on your wonderful?
It's a special day.
I'm not going to ask how many years.
Sure, you can. I'm 45 years old today.
Yeah, you look every bit of it. Merry
there, buddy.
Christmas. You're welcome.
Yeah, it's almost Christmas time.
So I figure since the last few podcasts, the most interesting part of our podcast has been the first 10 minutes, and you're waiting for people to show up and try and get here. And I think we should just talk about random things for the first 5 minutes, and we can get into the nitty gritty of the good stuff. I'm thinking that is the proper way to go about this. What say you?
I'm open to anything. Brandy is on right now. Brandy, there seems to be some conjecture as to whether or not we are properly, or I, because I'm in charge of the soundboard here, whether or not I am properly sending out the podcast. Did you happen to see the podcast video tonight? Did it show up? I really would like to know, and then we'll kind of move forward from there. You saw it?
I saw it.
Good.
I wasn't happy. Why do you think I was shaking my head?
Podcast time.
So, I mean, it is what it is.
It is.
Well, go ahead. You lead the conversation. You did a really good job last week, by the way.
Well,
you were definitely the leader of the conversation.
You put it back on again.
I know I did. Well,
you know what? This is your birthday. This is your special day. I'm just going to sit here and watch.
Oh. Well, all right then. I guess that's what we'll do. So, welcome to the Jerk Show. Yeah, it's Sunday night. It's my birthday. I'm 45 years old, and I have been drinking wine tonight for quite a few hours. Actually, I went over to my parents' house. My mother made me a wonderful meal. My mother's birthday, so today is Sunday. My mother's birthday was on Friday. My grandmother, who is 89 years old today, shares my birthday. She was born first, though. I came later. And we had the same birthday, so we had dinner tonight. It was very, very nice. And
save the best for last.
Yeah. Ooh.
Probably the.
What are you trying to say? Are you saying my grandmother's gonna die?
No, I'm saying she's better than you.
Oh, maybe. Well, that's probably accurate. I got her a really nice, super comfy shawl that she can wear because she gets cold very easy because she's like this big.
Yeah.
So I got her a shawl. So it's she liked it. She seemed happy.
Boy.
What do you Anyway, that's what I have going on today. What's your week been like? We seem to touch in on the weeks every week.
Well, let's start. I don't know if Rashawn's in on this, but congratulations to his Giants beating the Seahawks today, even though they suck. I don't know if you saw that. No.
Basketball?
The Seahawks,
hockey?
The Giants.
Hockey?
New York Giants.
New York. Oh, is that American football? Is that American football?
Mm-hmm. Syracuse lost again, I saw.
In football, but they beat the shit out of another team in basketball, though, today.
Yeah, I don't know if basketball really matters, right?
Well, Syracuse is
definitely 100 years old now.
Yeah. Did you see him? He was basically maskless at the game. His mask was falling down around his face. Yeah, it was like he was definitely below the nose, rocking it. So good for him. And he's already been COVID positive, so even better.
Wow. Good to go, right?
Well, he's 78 friggin' years old. Oh, yeah. It's not surprising. But Syracuse is definitely number 12 all-time basketball program in the country. The Syracuse football program is certainly not that. They finished the season 1-10 with a nice 45-21 loss to Notre Dame to end the season this year. Yeah, no, I'm not
yuck.
Yeah, I don't care. I could care less about the NFL, but college football is still my jam. And Syracuse football did not do well this year. They are ACC North, and they are not
12 teams.
We got 9 viewers, by the way, right now. 9 viewers, cakes and pies. Everybody,
hey, look at that. Okay, now we get to talk about something interesting. We're only 4 minutes in, and we have that many people watching. This is amazing.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Carry on. What are we talking about tonight?
So I don't know. I think we should talk about what we did 2 years ago because it was a great day. Remember sitting next to the rock
on my birthday.
Oh, boy.
On my birthday, Jeannie Gallo, actually. So a couple things real quick. We'll lead up to this. So 2 years ago, I was. Yeah, that was, oh my God, it was. Okay, so I'm going to tell this story real quick since it's my birthday and shit. So 2 years ago, I was just a few months out of being separated from my now ex-wife. And we had a trip planned with Mark and Angela and my 2 boys to go to Disney World for several days and then go on the Disney cruise. obviously my ex-wife and I, at the time, wife, split up. So she did not come on that trip. And even though I was dating Jessica at the time, we were not at that point yet where she was going to come on this kind of a trip. Plus, at that point, the embarking information for the cruise was already set. So it was easy to remove Jen, not so easy to put Jessica on. So she didn't come on that trip. So I went down. Mark and Angela were going to join us just the night before the cruise. They were going to stay one night at the
Boardwalk.
Where was it? Boardwalk. Yeah, Boardwalk. And I was staying at the Beach and Yacht Club. And so we, my son and I, or my sons and I, had a great time for several days before Mark and Angela's show. They show up at the Boardwalk. Let's go to Disney Springs and let's have dinner at Homecoming. And I'm texting back and forth with Jeannie Gallo, who is kind of, you know, if you don't know Jeannie, Jeannie's actually very famous in the Disney fan groups, and she definitely makes herself known amongst, you know, the Disney World junkies and I might be addicted to Disney and blah blah blah, all these different sites, right? So we had befriended ourselves quite some time before that, and I told her that I was down there. It was my birthday. Well, my birthday was coming up. It was not my birthday yet, and that I had some friends joining us, and we were going to dinner at Homecoming. Another Disney friend of mine, who's also quite famous actually on YouTube, he's a fairly popular YouTuber known as Big Fat Panda. His real name is John Sacheri. He was also going to meet us at Homecoming. So sure enough, we're at Homecoming. I meet up with John, and then all of a sudden, now I knew what Jeannie looked like. I had not met her in person. Mark and Angela had not met her at all at that point, but I see her come walking by the window while we're sitting at Homecoming. And then there's some guy on a bicycle that goes riding by. Yep. And then Jeannie comes walking back by the other way, and then a bicycle comes riding by. And I'm like, what is going on? And sure enough, Jeannie comes into the restaurant. She's looking for us. And Jeannie, much like Mark and much like I, over the course of time that you've gotten to notice, was a little bit inebriated. She will not admit that. Joined us. She joined us at the table. Both my boys were there, and Mark and Angela, and we had a wonderful dinner. Jeannie was quite entertaining. She may or may not have been. I don't know what's the word to look for. She got kind of abrasive and antagonistic with Big Fat Panda. I guess they had some sort of YouTube or Disney fan page history, some kind of conflict that was going on. So yeah, as Jeannie said, the guy on the bicycle that I was talking about was a Disney security guy who had a crush on Jeannie, and he was making every effort to connect with her that night. But we had a great meal, and we had a good conversation, and then sure enough, we became fast friends, as you can see, because she's hanging out with us every Sunday night here on the Gentleman of the Jerk.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that was a great night. We had a good time. We drank all the alcohols, and we ate all the foods. We get up the next morning, and you had hired a limo to drive us to the cruise with my boys and you. It was actually a big SUV, right?
Yeah, it was a big Suburban or something. It was slick.
Yeah. Driver was fantastic.
She was
cool. Did the long ass drive out to Port Canaveral, and we got onto the ship. And sure enough, the second day was my birthday, and we had dinner at Remy, right?
Yeah, well, it was brunch.
Well, 2 days. We did brunch at Remy. So we did dinner at what is the other place?
We did dinner at Palo. So, and that was the trippy one. That was the last day. We did dinner at Palo the last day. That was
which one was my actual birthday? See, now I'm
brunch
confused.
was your birthday.
Brunch was my birthday
on your birthday. It's I shared it to your feed earlier. So
that was the champagne tasting, right?
Yes.
We did the champagne tasting.
They shaved off the ham. We had that. They had the ham slicer telling us about how they had to use that so it didn't melt the fat in the ham and blah blah blah. It was wonderful. But
hold on, real quick though. For the record, I was drunk at noon. I was drunk.
Yes, you were
drunk at noon.
That wasn't paper cup day either. So that was the day you stole the wine glass. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
You lifted one from the bar and
you
brought it. You brought it into to Remy.
Nope.
You brought it into Remy, and they were horrified because it wasn't one of their nice wine glasses. They took the wine glass from Chris and brought it back with their nice wine glass, poured his wine right into it, and gave it back to him. They would not let him drink it with that thing.
That was a very, very nice restaurant.
It was awesome.
I was actually both of them, Palo and Remy are both absolutely amazing.
But it was what I was going to say. It was a weird trip for that. So Angela and I had gone on the Fantasy a year previous, maybe it was 2 years previous. The first night we had a server on the Fantasy that actually ended up being our server on the Dream. You remember the weird part about that whole thing?
Yeah, he was your server on your first cruise. Is that right?
On the no, not our first cruise, but on the Fantasy, he was our server.
Oh, right.
And
this was his last. This was his last one, right?
We were literally his last table.
Last table. That's awesome. Yeah.
So I don't know, kind of cool. So that's my Disney fun for the.
And didn't you see something about him in an article or something afterward too?
So no, well, yeah, but he married a girl that was she was one of the hosts, I think at Remy, and they moved back to his home country of Serbia. I'm friends with him on Facebook. He just started.
Are you really?
Shipping. Yeah,
oh, no shit.
I found him. He just started a shipping company. He's got a van and everything. I was like, that's pretty cool. So.
Oh, good for him. That's he was fantastic.
I had to search him out because that was our fourth meal with him, and he was great. Every time we had him, I thought he was fantastic. I could tell he was ready to go by that last one. You could kind of see it, but it was cool that we got to be his last table. We appreciated that. It was very, very cool. So anyway,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so a year later, almost a year later, we did another cruise, which Jeannie joined us on.
Yes.
And also Brandy, who is here, and Brandy's daughter. Actually, she could not handle alcohol. You tried to take her down and get her intoxicated in Nassau, and that did not go so well. But we have a plan, assuming that COVID starts to wane and the vaccines work. We're going to try to go in August so that my son, who will be 18 in August, he can have a similar experience and get him exposed to some alcohol in the island of Nassau.
Yeah, you remember what I did there? I made that guy go away. Were you with us? I don't think you were with us.
No, right? I did not go on that. Jessica came on that trip with us, and I do not like the island of Nassau, and I definitely do not like the port of Nassau. So I had and I also used to, when I was living in Pensacola, Florida, I worked at a Señor Frogs, which is where you went to. And I am not a fan of that franchise. I do not do Señor Frogs. So I passed on that trip down there. I stayed on the ship.
Be doing that this year.
Yeah, probably.
That's the right place to take an 18-year-old, I gotta say.
Well, and there is a significant difference between your niece and my son as far as their approach to their adulthood and their debauchery and their alcoholism. So
yes.
Wait.
Yeah.
Stand by. So, Brandy, did you say that I was a pussy and didn't drink? Because I'm fairly certain that is not the case. I've never really been around your brother without being intoxicated, so I don't know who wasn't drinking.
I'm not seeing this.
Unless she's talking about you. Is she talking about you?
I do not see it.
Who are you don't see your sister's message right there? Right after you wrote super cool, she wrote he was a pussy and didn't drink.
She deleted it, or I do not.
I don't know.
That.
I still see it. Maybe she blocked you from it. So she must have been talking about you. All right. Well, that's fair.
Well, let me here. Hold on. We're gonna beat each other right now for a moment.
Oh, Jeannie. Yes, Jeannie just reminded me too.
It is not.
So Jeannie reminded me when you guys took her took her down into the island. Jeannie and her husband and Jessica and I were doing a mixology class. On the ship, and that was actually fantastic, man.
Yeah,
we got ourselves tore up on that thing. That was really good. I forgot how much fun that was.
I still do not see that comment. I am now logged in as Gentleman and the Jerk, and that comment does not exist.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure your sister's blocking you, man.
Yeah, but
she's got to be blocking you.
Yeah, well, sounds about right. Anyway,
so carry on as we were doing.
So, did you enjoy those drinks they made? Did you ever try and make your own afterwards?
No. Mostly because at the beginning of it, the host of the mixology class, our mixologist, if you will, she was fantastic. But Jessica and myself and Jeannie's husband, we all noticed that Jeannie was declining very, very quickly. She was not handling the alcohol content quite so well. So any energy that I had to learn the drinks, I spent on making sure that Jeannie didn't fall off the ship. Yeah, and she just wrote, I don't remember what they were, trashed. Yeah.
I see that.
She went back and slept in her room for like 12 hours. I don't think she even made dinner that night, if I remember correctly.
I don't know. But what else?
No, that was our artist palette dinner where everybody showed up and then everybody left. Was that artist palette?
No. That was so that was the first night. That was
first night with the ship moving. Okay. Yep.
That was the first night we all the men in the group except
all
for
us
you
men folk.
Or did you leave too? I don't know. Casey left and
I stayed.
Ron left.
I stayed for dinner.
Left, and it was like all the kids are sitting there wondering what the heck is wrong.
I stayed to the very end, man. I never got seasick on that trip last year. I did very, very well.
That was probably. Oh, I just fixed it. Now I see her making fun of me. You got to click on live chat, not top chat.
Yeah,
and I'm the computer expert in this family, so weird. So,
wow, Pornhub is not a computer expert.
Mark. Oh wow, that's check please. This just got awkward, like the most awkward conversation you and I have ever had. Speaking of I got a knife today. Cool.
Good thing Mike Johnson is 1,300 miles away.
Well, I was
actually 2,300 miles away.
I was gonna say I'm not. No, I'm not gonna. I was gonna say speaking of stabbing things, but I didn't. So,
well, you don't stab with that. You hack with that.
I don't know.
It's a hacking tool.
This might work pretty good, I think.
I guess you could stab with that.
Hey, short story about this. This is the first time that I've ever purchased something on Amazon. They sent me the wrong product and it was twice as much money. So thank you, Amazon, for this fancy knife. I'm not returning it because it's better than the one I ordered. So yeah, that's my unboxing experience. I'll never do an unboxing ever again. That's the dumbest videos on YouTube.
It's a shame because Jeff Bezos probably will have to buy a 45-foot yacht instead of a 46-foot yacht now because of that.
Oh, yeah, probably just for me, right? So
actually, he bought a submarine, didn't he?
I think he wants to make submarines. I mean, he's already making rockets and I don't know. He's probably going to own an NFL team or something in the future as well. Who knows? We'll see. He can buy whatever he wants. That's funny. You look at that's crazy.
Your sister, though. Speaking of Pornhub, I just got a knife. What the?
I'm trying to change the subject. I felt like you were being. What's the word? I don't know. You were being something. You look like you're
birthday. It's my birthday, man. I'm turning red.
Happy birthday!
Yeah,
you're turning gray, bald.
I have been bald for quite some time, and the gray
I was looking at that. This is called
distinguishment.
Dude, you had a full head of hair when we went to Disneyland, 2.5 years ago? You had flowing locks off to the side. I was looking at that picture today, and I'm just like, boy.
Divorce is very hard. Any viewers out there that have been divorced know exactly what I went through. This part of my head fell apart in that divorce, so that's all. That's all I got to say.
It
is life.
It worked out. You did Daddy done good, right? So.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm life is good, man.
Yeah.
Hey, changing subjects. What do you think about? There was some pretty good information there on the Mandalorian this week. We should try to stick some more Disney stuff in here. What did you think about the Mandalorian?
Well, that was the whole point of this. I was just wanting to celebrate your birthday, and then you brought up weird shit, and then I swore. So happy Disney time. Mandalorian.
Wait, hold on a second. What's worse, a knife or Pornhub? Because I would make the argument that Pornhub never killed anybody. I mean, just saying.
I am proud of ripping Amazon off. That's all.
Oh, and all right.
That's it. What's the harm of that?
Weapon thievery is fine.
I did not. Yeah, you're right. I should call him. Damn it. Ruined it for me.
Speaking of scoundrels,
yes.
What about the Mandalorian?
It was a hive of scum and villainy on that episode.
That's
boy.
That's
oh boy. Okay. Anybody. You gotta.
Spoilers.
We're probably gonna spoil it for you if you haven't watched this. So. I do
your friend last week never came back. He's not here tonight either.
Who?
I don't think he's watching. Who was the friend of yours, the coworker that?
I don't think Paul ever came back.
Paul, that's right. Did you ever text him? Because he's probably still waiting for your text.
Do you know what Paul is known as around or what
West Coast Chris?
You've
is
heard
he West Coast Chris?
Yes, he's West Coast Chris. And you're East Coast Paul. I am texting him right now because I did forget to text him.
He's been sitting by his phone since last Sunday night, waiting to find out the spoilers are over.
You're probably right. So anyway, back to the show. Oh, we're losing subscribers. Everybody's scared.
What's your Pornhub talk?
No, that was your talk.
Pull the knife.
I think we're going to lose all our subscribers in a minute.
What are you, a nihilist? Are you a nihilist?
I'm not. Okay, Lebowski, come on.
These men are cowards, Donnie. All right, carry on. Mandalorian. Okay, let's go. Mandalorian.
We've already heard that story. What story have you already heard? I'm very curious now. She calls me Narky Nark and the Funky Bunch.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh. You don't have those kind of abs.
Not
you
Marky.
Not have those
no,
abs.
not Marky. For some reason, it's Narky Nark and the Funky Bunch. I'm not sure where that came from, but it's a term of endearment as far as I'm concerned. It may not be, but it's all right.
Well, yeah. Speaking of a lack of abs, what did we think about Boba Fett and his new armor or his old armor?
It's his old armor. Oh my gosh, I like his face. You can really see that Sarlacc took it to him. So, you know,
it was it was like chew marks in his head.
I'm just really happy they got the original actor Tamura Morrison back. I'm glad it wasn't. I'm glad they didn't just try and shove someone in there. Gosh, it was great.
Well, and I'm fairly certain they got him for a long-term contract. So
what else does he have to do? Sorry, I know he's a nice guy, but what else does he have to do? This is money.
Well, I mean, he's been voicing the show for quite a while.
Again,
he's been a voice
Star Wars, right?
Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, I don't think that Boba Fett is a long-term character on this show. I think Boba Fett is a temporary thing, because I do believe that on the assault, he's going to help them assault the ship, and I think he's going to die in a blaze of glory. I think
I got a feeling you're right. He's probably the sacrifice.
Yep. I think he's going to be the sacrificial lamb. But I don't think Tamar Morrison would not have signed the contract for a 2-episode appearance.
No, he may be,
because I think he's coming back.
Yeah.
He's not going to be back in The Mandalorian. I think he's going to be on Ahsoka's show playing General Rex, and I think he's going to come back for that character because obviously, as a clone, he played all of them.
Well,
and
the cool
he's
part
still alive.
Oh, sorry. You continue. I am.
Well, I was going to say, he's still alive. He survived Order 66. He removed his chip from his brain so that he didn't try to kill Jedi. If you watch the last episodes of Season 7 of the Clone Wars, you'll have all that information given to you. Also, he appeared in Rebels. So he is certainly still alive at this point. He is helping Ahsoka. Although, interesting enough, Dave Filoni revealed that the events of the very, very end of Rebels, anybody that's watched that show, the very last scene of the last episode of Rebels, the assumption was that happened before Return of the Jedi. And as it turns out, according to Dave Filoni, the very, very last scene of Rebels has not happened yet in the timeline. So where we are right now in The Mandalorian, when Ahsoka shows up and recruits what's her face? Oh my god, what is wrong with me right now? The Mandalorian character, Sabine Wren. When she shows up to recruit Sabine to help her find somebody, for those that I don't want to spoil everything.
And then they disappear.
When she shows up to recruit her, that has not happened yet. And so last week's episode, which was the Ahsoka episode, the Jedi episode, where she mentions Grand Admiral Thrawn, she has not found him yet. And the whole idea was that she was going to take Sabine Wren to go find Ezra Bridger, who was battling Grand Admiral Thrawn out in the unknown regions. So that means that either the next episode or the future episodes or a completely different TV show about Ahsoka will be about that trip.
Yeah.
So
that would be very cool.
Very
I
cool.
gotta stop you for a second because we've got 10 people watching, actually for a long, long time, which is very appreciative. But I'm just going to call 10 of you out. We only have 6 likes, and I think 3 of them are from me. You guys help us out. Just help us out.
Yeah, like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, too.
My goodness, we're up to 11.
Oh, look at everybody that's in here right now, man. Happy birthday to me.
Thank you, Chris. This is the best time. Oh, they're gone again. They didn't like us so much.
Shit. Damn it, Mark. It's your forehead.
Hey, we got 7. We got 7. Let's see if we can get to 10. If we can get to 10, I'll say thank you again. I don't know.
And we have, by the way, we have 21 subscribers. So if any of you that are watching right now have not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe. We could take this back to Facebook and make it a little bit more intimate, but I think that for the future of this, for us to both have the impetus and the desire to continue to grow it, I think YouTube is the platform for us. Even though the YouTube algorithm is not what it used to be. I mean, you're not going to become famous on YouTube anymore, but This is fun for us. And for those of you that are joining us every week, this is our way of having a conversation with you here in the comment section and all that kind of stuff. So if you are not subscribed and you just find us through Facebook every week, subscribe to the channel. Help us get some numbers up and share it with your friends. And even if you don't, even if you don't care about whether or not we succeed and become successful and famous and rich and happy and better than we are right now, just give us a little subscription.
I'm better than I am right now every time I talk to you, Chris. That's right. You puke a little.
That was a weird time thing. You're better than you are right now?
Yeah. Every minute.
So you're in are you spiraling upward?
Yeah, I've got 4 dimensions or something. I don't know. Maybe 5.
Ooh.
Yeah. I took it there. Hey, I must say some amazing things because every time I talk, this number goes up. Every time you talk,
keep talking, man. Keep talking.
No, you don't want to hear this. You want to hear this nasally voice all the time.
That's not fair at all.
Got to hear the.
So, what are your thoughts? Okay, so I jawed off about the Mandalorian. What are your thoughts on the episode?
Oh, you know what? I take it a little simpler than you. I'm not going to cause everybody to glaze over. Simple. Yes, I am sober. You can like it now, Paul. You just click on the thumbs up, not the thumbs down. Thumbs up. It's in the corner there. You're probably on your phone, I'm guessing, because you're probably working. But thank you for showing up. You like to dig deep into that episode and think about the future episodes. I just got to tell you, I smiled the whole episode because it was just such a cool thing. See him back, see the, you kind of had that foreshadowing that was going to happen, that he was going to show up at some point. And, when they announced the actors and things, it made it pretty obvious, but that moment was pretty cool. And it's starting to get to the point with the show that we are really seeing it goes from this, this Western, this cowboy, this, loner, and he's starting to really become part of the Star Wars universe. It's all coming together. The first season was kind of that introduction to him, to who he is. Oh man, all the characters they're adding this year, just so cool. I'm very happy to see where it's gone. You always talk about Dave Filoni, but I gotta say Jon Favreau did have a big part in this too, getting this thing going. I was watching Chef today. I don't know if you've ever seen Chef. But you seen that movie?
No, I have not.
You need to watch it. Chef is one of the best movies I've ever seen. Have you watched the Jon Favreau's Chef show on Netflix? You don't watch cooking shows, do you? God,
I don't. I was raised by an Italian mom, and I kind of learned how to cook from her.
You don't. That's not what it's about. Oh man. But anyway, it's a great movie. You need to watch it. Fantastic movie. I don't have much more to say than that about it. I'm going to keep it simple this time. I need to go back and watch this one again. It was the episode made me happy. There was, the end wasn't so happy, but it made me happy to see that they're moving forward. I saw a quote today that said, the Mandalorian, he's the guy in a video game that plays all the side quests before he even moves on to the main mission. And it's exactly what the show is. It's exactly
that's what the show is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's great. I love that part of it.
It's episodic.
Great. Super cool.
It's episodic, but it's still serialistic too. They really do marry the two things. There have been, I would say, in the 2 seasons, there's probably been three episodes that I would consider filler, but even they get referenced.
Yeah, just a total standalone episode. I mean, look, the prison episode in season 1,
which has been referenced now twice.
And now
this
it's
season.
coming back. Yeah,
it's coming back around. So
I love to see
it really
Bill
is
Burr
magical filmmaking. Well, he's coming back. Did you see how this episode ended? They're bringing the whole team back together again.
I'm so excited.
So there's going to be a grand assault. They have 2 episodes left, right? There's going to be a grand assault on this because that was episode 6.
Is it 10 episodes this year?
No, it's only 8, I think, right?
Why did I think it was 10? Because
I don't know. Check it out. I thought it was 8.
The reason I thought it was 10 is because let's look. I'm looking right now. I thought that they were number of episodes. Let's see here. I'm talking to myself. This is probably the most boring part of this
I don't think that's the most boring part.
There's season 1, season 2, 6, 7, 8. Okay, you're right. There's only 8. That makes me sad because I was hoping to see a lot more of this. Hey, you're right for once. You're right. When you're right, you're right.
Oh, for once. When you're right, you're right. What am I going to say? Anyway, so 2 episodes left. I think most likely we're looking at an assault on the Imperial Star Cruiser that they are, that Grand Moff.
No,
what
Grand.
Is his name? Grand?
Just Moff Gideon.
Oh, Moff Gideon. That's right. He's not a Grand.
He's not Grand yet.
So I'm assuming.
What? Okay. What makes him Grand?
I think it's just. It's like a 5-star general versus.
If anybody knows, let me know.
A Mauve is a civilian. So this has actually been explained by New Rockstars a number of times. So a Mauve is a civilian title. It's like a what do you call it? Governor or Mark. Really, right now? So it's like a governor or an alderman. It's like an elected position kind of thing. Whereas an admiral is actually in the military itself. So the Mauves are more. Yeah. They're more regional people that are working for the military side of things, but they are a regional controller rather than a military general or an admiral.
Makes sense.
So. Yeah, and then there's Grands, which probably I would assume so like small sectors are Mauves and bigger sectors are Grand Mauves. So
shouldn't be drinking this.
Oh, you shut your mic off. You gotta turn your mic back on. There you are. Now you're back on. So I here's my thing. I think that they're gonna put the whole team together and they're gonna assault that. And then my assumption is based on just how screenwriting works. I think we're going to see
how does it work?
A brief appearance of Grand Admiral Thrawn at the very, very end, which is going to trigger us into the next season. Whatever happens most likely won't have a direct effect on the Mandalorian. He'll kind of go off and do his own thing with Grogu, and then we will see Grand Admiral Thrawn's greater plan is revealed to show that Moff Gideon is not so much a part of his grand scheme, and that'll be the impetus for us to understand what's going on with the Ahsoka show. The question...
Okay. What's the question?
So the question is what happens with... Because before there's an Ahsoka show, there's going to be a Kenobi show. So how does all this tie into the Kenobi show? At some point in the next 2 episodes, they've got to show us something that's going to tie us back... At least what now? 10 years, right? Back to the beginning, before, like to go pre-episode 4.
So let's see. It's got to be more than 10 years. So it's this was set 5 years after Return of the Jedi,
right? But it's also been almost 20 years since since Revenge of the Sith. So
correct.
We have an Obi-Wan that's now 20 years older than he was with Revenge of the Sith. So we are now right around the Rebels timeline for that Obi-Wan. So now it's very easy to say, because what they could do is they could make a Mandalorian connection between Mandalore or Bo-Katan and Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan was involved with the previous Mandalore. So we can make a connection with that and tell that backstory and then have that be the introduction. Or...
I feel stupid right now.
Or we could have that... remember how we got Grogu sitting on the stone looking for another Jedi, right? Setting this thing out there. Well...
Okay, did you hear about that part?
What's that?
The Ben Solo link.
Well, Ben Solo would be a child. He would be about 4 years old.
They would say he'd be about 5 years old.
4. He most likely was conceived right after Return of the Jedi. So by the time he was born, probably about 4 years old. He's not going to show up. So a lot of people think it's
not in the show, but there's a link between the 2 characters. That's the new nasty rumor on your New Rockstars.
Oh, I didn't see that with those guys.
If you look at the stone, there's butterflies, and there's episodes of another show where he's big into hunting bugs.
Well, and the butterfly flew right around him too. I don't buy.
Oh yeah, the 3 there.
Yeah, I don't buy them bringing a Skywalker in, whether it's Ben Solo or Luke Skywalker, because a lot of people have said Luke Skywalker can come in.
I don't think they need to.
No, I don't think they need to either. So here's my thing with Mandalorian. And we're definitely losing viewers. There's people that do not like the Star Wars universe.
Hey, and we got another of our cruise buddies just showed up. Rashawn's here.
Oh, hey, Rashawn. So I'm gonna say this, and this is fact. The first episode of The Mandalorian last year in November came out the exact same week that the video game Fallen Order came out, which is a Star Wars video game that featured a Jedi called Cal Kestis.
And if you played, finished.
Oh my god, the game is so amazing. I have finished it 2 times through. And Cal Kestis is alive at the end of that game. The game takes place right after Order 66, like within the next couple of years after Order 66. He would be of a decent age, he's still alive, to come out and find Grogu. The game, it is not coincidence. There's no way that they were creating this show called The Mandalorian, filmed an entire season, edited an entire season, and premiered it on Disney Plus the same weekend that this video game came out, and not knowing of each other.
So Disney, if there is synergy, it's exactly
absolutely
what they would do.
So if there is going to be a character, a Jedi that is alive in this time frame, that's going to come find Grogu, it's going to be Cal Kestis. Oh, and spoiler alert, the end of the game was about him finding a thing that told him the name of Force-sensitive beings that were all around the galaxy. So there is no way in hell.
Oh, you just
also the actor that plays Cal Kestis in the video game looks just like Cal Kestis. So
perfect.
They literally can have the same actor come in and play him. So there's no way in hell that that's not happening.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, even though I know nothing about which you speak, and that's okay. You know?
See, I'm a super Star Wars nerd. It's always been my thing. I consume everything Star Wars I could possibly consume. I've played all the old video games, so like the Dark Troopers that came down. That's a throwback to a 1980s video game that I played, and it's incredible to see all of this legend material being brought to life. It really is just crazy for me. So I'm in my absolute glory.
Well, yeah, when you were here at my house, you had to stare at my Star Wars arcade machine,
which was awesome.
You should probably get one.
So I walked into his house. You come in through the side door and you go up this like really kind of tight, uncomfortable staircase, right? And I felt like I was going to die. So you come up this tight, uncomfortable staircase it's an old house. It's beautiful. And you come up into this like really cool, quaint little like romantic kitchen. And he's got his kitchen counter right here. And then he's got on the opposite side, he's got this just magnificent refrigerator. His refrigerator's got to be thousands of dollars. Beautiful refrigerator. And then there's a door that if you come around in a hard 180, you can go out the back door. But on your way out the back door, he's got a countertop, like almost like a diner countertop, which is where he sits so he can view his gigantic television that he has mounted on his wall in his kitchen. But on that countertop was not plates or silverware or napkins, but he had the Razor Crest, which is the ship from the Mandalorian right there. That thing was on his counter. The box of it was gigantic. That ship no longer exists in the Star Wars universe. That was destroyed by Moff Gideon. That ship is gone. Yeah, you really should. For the sake of our show, you should smash that against the wall right now. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Do you think my? No, I can't. Sorry, ain't gonna happen. I was thinking about that earlier. I honestly had that same thought, and I chose to not. No, not gonna happen. It's too much of a pain in the ass to rebuild it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
you should go buy Slave 1 though. We need a Slave 1.
So they have a 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back edition of that is currently available, but I don't have that. I do have this though. This was my last purchase. Speaking of Star Wars, this is my last purchase from Galaxy's Edge when we were there. When was that? October. I got a sandcrawler. It's made out of wood. Awesome. It's
very nice.
Two little Jawas in there. Yeah. Anyway,
Speaking of Galaxy's Edge, have you watched the documentary on Galaxy's Edge on Disney Plus yet?
The one that came out when Galaxy's Edge opened?
No, there's a new one I think that just came out.
No, I watched. There was one that was on. It was like a big advertisement. Is that the one you speak of?
I don't think so. I think this is something new because it was dated 2020, so it's got to be something new.
Was it with who's
I haven't watched
the
it
host?
Yet. I haven't watched it yet.
So who was the host on the other one? Doogie Howser. He was the host.
Oh no, that was not who this was. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, there's probably a new one. The original, I would love to see it because there's things that are changing even there now, which is awesome.
Well, the hotel's getting ready to open, or the cruise ship. The cruise ship's getting ready to open.
So what do you think of that? You know what? I think that's a great conversation to have to end this voyage today on your birthday.
Ooh.
What do you think? What do you think, man? What do you think? Are you going to do the voyage on the Galactic Star Cruiser?
I think the answer is eventually yes. I think eventually yes, I will do it. I don't know if that's going to be my toe tap back into Disney because the price point is so high.
I'm hearing $1,300 a person for the what?
2-day that's about what I've heard. Well, it's there's a 3-day and a 5-day experience.
It's just all it is 3 nights. That's it.
3 nights.
It's 2 days, 3 nights. And it's the Halcyon, isn't it? Is that the ship's name? Yeah, Halcyon.
Yeah.
So I would absolutely love to go on this. I am so excited about doing that. I am most curious, and I know this sounds weird. I am most curious to figure out how they get you from the hotel to Galaxy's Edge without breaking the fourth wall or whatever you want to call it.
You know where it is, right?
It's close. Yeah, it's very close.
Well, it's so the hotel was built. So do you remember when we were there for opening day?
Yes.
And we did the whole serpentine thing to ride
we went out
Smuggler's
back.
Run. Yes. So where we went out back is where that gate is. That's where they built the hotel because they had not even broke ground yet. So that's where you're going to come in, is right there by the Millennium Falcon. That'll be the entrance into the park.
But are they going to have, I guess what I'm wondering is it going to be a transportation? Are they going to put you in a shuttle?
Yeah,
Are they going to use the same kind of windows that that's the thing. It's like, I'm very curious because are they going to use the same windows that they used?
Yes, it's going to be just like, it's going to be like in, yeah, like the other ride. What is the other ride called? Rise of Resistance. So the first part of the Rise of Resistance ride, where you're in the shuttle and then you get brought onto the Empire ship, that it'll be like that. You'll be in a motion simulator that will move around and the windows will change, and then you'll land, and when you open the door up, you'll be there. And all it'll probably be is a ship that turns around.
Yeah, and that would be awesome. I'm totally good if that's the mechanism they use, then that's fantastic. You know, I can't get my head around how exactly close it is. If it's
it's right there. It's right there.
Yeah.
If you look at okay, actually you probably haven't noticed it. So when I ran the Dopey Challenge back in January, the day that we run around Hollywood Studios, you run into that backstage area, and so you can see, you could see where they were building the hotel right there, and it's a large. So when you're in the docking area of Galaxy's Edge or of Batuu or Black Spire Outpost, if you will, if you're at the restaurant and you're looking at the Millennium Falcon, you can see how high those walls are, where the rocks are. Right there is where the hotel is. So those rocks and those walls are so high because the hotel is right behind it.
Okay, so that's going to be where your entrance is as well.
Yep,
then.
right there. Yeah, right there, right next to the, cool. So you'll come out right by the front of the Millennium Falcon.
Well, and that's the interesting thing about Galaxy's Edge, especially, I mean, in Disneyland, it's not the same, but in Disney World, you know, you've got all those entrances where the the stormtroopers come in, or the shuttle's landing. You've got all these little areas where you could very easily expand it. I think any talk of expansion has been shelved, A, because it wasn't as well received as everybody thought it was going to be, and B, COVID. So I think they prepped themselves for expansion in the future. I still hear rumors about an actual restaurant going in. And I think that would be very interesting to actually see a Star Wars restaurant.
Sure.
I mean, they're going to have something like that on the Galactic Star Cruiser, because obviously.
They will. They've already shown what the restaurant's going to look like. It's going to be more like a commissary type of thing
that's fantastic.
In the actual hotel itself. I think there needs to be a different restaurant perhaps at Disneyland's version of Galaxy's Edge, but Disney World in Epcot has the space restaurant, which is going to be a space elevator. So I don't think they need to double up on the space experience in a restaurant because they've invested so much money into that restaurant, which I think was supposed to open around April or May of this past year, but obviously got delayed because they were almost ready to open when I was there in January. They were testing it with people, so all of that was in place. But they just weren't ready to go. So I'm assuming by the time we see some return to normalcy, that'll be there. So I don't know if they need another actual sit-down reservation level restaurant in Galaxy's Edge. My question is, so right now, if I want to go to get a steak dinner, I can go to Le Cellier in Epcot. I can go, I can go to downtown or Disney Springs and get a number of things, or I can go to the Yachtsman at Beach and Yacht Club. So if there's a restaurant that I like at the Star Wars Hotel, will I be able to get a reservation for that Star Wars Hotel restaurant and go there? How is that going to work? That becomes the question.
I think at least at the start, that's going to be exclusive. You're paying that's for what it. I'm thinking too. That. I mean, they're not gonna. I mean, hey, it depends on how well this is received as well. I mean, if they're finding that they can't get anybody to go there, then which is a distinct possibility right now.
I don't. Did you see the news that the last 5 days in a row they reached capacity at all 4 parks in Disney World? So I don't think
as Universal they reached capacity as well. First time they have since they reopened. So,
I don't think they're going to have a problem booking that place at all. I think people got money to burn. I think the wealthy people that already go like. And I hate to say this, but like people like you and I that had the money to burn to go to Disney several times a year, I think people like us have been chomping at the bit to go. I don't want to because I actually respect COVID and how bad this is. But there are people out there that don't give a shit that have money to burn and they have been able to spend it.
Thanks, buddy.
What?
Thanks. I think that was a jab at me.
No, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad like it is right now when you went down there in October.
No, it wasn't. No. I wouldn't go right now. No way, no.
I'm talking about right now versus you went several months ago. That's different.
I still had reservations as to whether I was going to go in October because that's right when it started to kind of go back up. And I was talking to Angela. I'm like, we picked a kind of a scary time to go.
The perfect time.
We're starting to. Well, it was because it was still calm there. The lines weren't too insane. I was, and it felt very safe. I mean, we flew Delta. Delta's done everything they possibly can to make sure everyone's safe in the park on the planes, and then Disney made sure everybody's safe in the parks. We didn't go anywhere else. We went plane, car, Disney. We didn't travel. We didn't sightsee. We weren't going out into Florida. Coming from Washington, it's a different world as far as respect for COVID down there. That was a little shocking just to see, even just in the drive, it's like totally different feeling. And then to see, I don't want to get political on this episode, but boy, oh boy. Yeah, seems like good luck to all you living there. So, yeah.
The interesting thing as well is that while Disney is ramping it up and went from 25% to 35% capacity, Disneyland, which is not opened, they had Downtown Disney open and they had opened some of the restaurants in California Adventure. They're all closed again. So California is in a wholly different place.
Grand Californian was supposed to reopen this weekend and they shelved that as well. So their hotel was going to reopen with another restaurant there. You had, and they were slowly kind of easing out the boundaries of what was open. Cause at first it was just Buena Vista Street. And then you could walk down into Hollywood Land, just a little ways. And then people are showing pictures that they're able to see, the new Marvel area. The name escapes me right now. So they were kind of pushing their boundaries, and then Taste Pilot's Grill over by Soarin' open. So, I mean, they've, it was such a bummer, it was just like watching that kind of just kind of open a little bit, and then just instantly had to close again. They do have, the stores are still open, 25% capacity or 20% capacity in California. But boy, oh boy, I've heard it's a ghost town.
Yeah.
Nobody's going. Nobody wants to go just for a store.
I mean, obviously, we're not Disney in any way, shape, or form, but like here, everything's a ghost town once you get in the cities. So I live in the suburbs. I mean, you've been out here, you know.
Yeah.
In the suburbs, it's like there's nothing going. It's like there is no COVID. I mean, everybody's wearing a mask, but the stores are packed, the restaurants are busy. But you go into the city of Syracuse, which is 6 miles, not even 6, 5 miles to the east of me here, and it is a ghost town. I mean, nothing is open. Restaurants had to go to full takeout, and about half of them in the whole city, about half of them just closed. They're not even bothering with takeout. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I think when we get done with this, we're gonna just see a lot of chain restaurants for a while. You know, if you want to start a restaurant, I know this sounds terrible, and I feel bad for the restaurants that are going away. And all those people, but man, if you want to start a restaurant, it seems like April or May next year. You should
April or May next year.
Well, you might hit it right.
If you read the New York Times, though, the common thinking is that this is gonna be a slower process than we thought. They're saying now that we're not going to get to full vaccine distribution until probably January, February of next year. So 2022. So I still think we're going to see some normalcy though by the fall. The question is going to be is how much vaccine distribution are we at as the cold months that brought this third wave, depending on where you are, this third wave. At what point will we get enough to avoid a fifth or sixth wave?
Well, and is even 40% in May or June good enough? You know, is that number not good enough for November when it's cold, but is it good enough to have 40 or 50% of the population vaccinated by, May?
Well, the smart thing is
get warmer.
You hit the vulnerable populations first.
Absolutely.
If you vaccinate the vulnerable populations, then hopefully we don't get hospitalizations, which is really the big marker that we're looking at. And if we don't get that, and then the only people left that are getting exposed are the healthier people. Like, I'm not worried about getting it. I'm worried about my mother getting it, right? So we vaccinate the elderly, we vaccinate the frontline workers. Then those of us.
I go to work every day. I get in people's cars every day. You know, I mean, you touch people's.
I'm a massage therapist. I'm very close to people all day long. So you
and I are. I mean, I turn a car on and their AC is blowing right up my nose the moment I get into a car. If that person's been exposed or is sick. They cough in their car, but where's it going? You know, that's 10 times a day, every day. And, so, I mean, I don't feel like I don't want to get it. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to get sick. Nobody wants to get sick no matter what the illness is. But you're right. I worry about my 97-year-old grandmother. I worry about my mom who's had some health issues. My dad who's had some health issues. The odds of, knock on wood. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not knocking on wood good enough to say that. So I'm not talking about the odds. So don't tell me the odds, right? Anyway, so, I'm glad businesses in some ways, in some places like Florida have recovered. I feel bad about, you see all these restaurants, people with their lives are, I mean, even the best restaurants aren't going to be able to make it through this. And that's a shame. Gosh, it's a crummy time to be a restaurant owner, that's for sure. And my heart goes out to everybody who's in that business because, boy, I don't think takeout bars are even worse. I got friends that are bar owners and they're struggling hard. I'd have given up by now. I'd have just found a job if I could. I probably couldn't have withstood this first 9 months, let alone another 9 months on top of it. So,
yeah, I having wood right here. Yeah. I have been lucky so far. My business is doing well. Definitely slower than it would be this time of year. But gift card sales and stuff like that are doing really well. So I can't really complain too much.
Yeah. You know what? We both are working, healthy, happy. We get to do this every week, which I know this is your 8th most favorite time of the week. Maybe 9th or 10th.
I love doing this, man. I absolutely love doing this. You kidding me?
This is great.
We're 10, always around 9 or 10 people here.
Yeah, this has been a good episode. Watch us two crazy people talk. I mean, I mumbles McGee over here. Sometimes can't understand what I'm saying. That's all right. Sometimes I don't even understand what I'm saying. So it's good.
I enjoy it. With that note, this is the end of another episode of the Gentleman of the Jerk. Thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, hold on. We need to change the name.
What do you got?
I would like to change the name of the show.
To the jerk and the gentleman?
No, I think it should be you're the Flash and I'm the Substance. I think that would be a more appropriate, unless it's Star Wars talk, and then I just glaze over. Everybody think about it. I like the name. I'm just kidding.
The jerk and the jism?
Whoa, man, this is not going where I expected it to go. I probably should have just let you say goodbye. Hey, Chris, happy birthday.
Hey, happy birthday to me. Rock on, man.
45, you look better than ever, It's like,
thank you so much.
Life's okay,
I saw my grandmother tonight. I haven't seen my grandmother since before COVID. It was the first time I set eyes on her. And I made sure that I wasn't around anybody for several days before seeing her. And it was funny because she's like, when have you been bald? Are you shaving your head? I'm like, Grandma, I started shaving my head 2 years ago. Like, what are you doing right now?
Oh my God. My 97-year-old grandmother said the same thing. I took my hat off. I don't like bald men. Just straight up.
Also, my grandmother looks at me today, and this is not the first time she's done this. This has happened like 3 times. She's like, oh, you have tattoos? Grandma, I have 28 tattoos. Like, are you shitting me right now? Like, have you not? Like, we've had this conversation several times. So she's clearly losing her mind at this point.
Yeah, that's life.
It is what it is.
You know what? Hey, I'm glad they're with us still. I'm glad we get to enjoy their company on occasion. I wish it was more often, but
Well, like I said, my grandmother shares the same birthday as me. She's 89 years old today, cool. So that's a big one.
Congratulations. My grandmother will be 98 on Inauguration Day, which I know you're looking forward to, and she still lives alone. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, pretty cool. So on that happy note, about we were going to leave on a dark note. Let's leave on a happy note. Happy birthday, Chris.
Note, man. Old grandmothers.
They're the best. They're the best. All
right. Well, thanks for that participating in tonight's comments.
Yes. Thank you all for liking. We got to 11 likes. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. We appreciate it. We're having fun, and I hope y'all too.
And we'll see you next Sunday when it's my birthday again.
And happy birthday to Liam this week. I gotta say it. Now he's
Oh yeah, who is Liam?
Nico's son.
Oh,
the quiet one.
We share a birthday? I
think it's Wednesday. I think his birthday is in a couple of days. But they were celebrating today, so
that's awesome.
He can watch it on Wednesday and think he's special. So
happy birthday, Liam.
And he's almost as tall as me. Oh my God.
Is he really? He was like this big. He was like that big.
No, that's canon. He's still that big.
Oh, okay. So there's
big goofy.
I know. Now I know who you're talking about with Liam. Okay, great. Well, happy birthday, Liam.
Oh, now I ruined his birthday. I called him Goofy. Sorry, Liam.
It's not the first time you've ruined somebody's day, Mark.
You're right. Time. Not today. So, all right, Chris. You have a wonderful
great night, man. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.